J'invite à présent les membres à regarder la déclaration préenregistrée du ministre des Affaires étrangères du Sri Lanka.
Mr. President, the Secretary General, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to represent Sri Lanka at this high-level meeting to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the 4th World Conference on Women. Undoubtedly, the Beijing Declaration and the Platform for Action, which was adopted during the 4th World Conference on Women in 1995, is a landmark global agenda for the empowerment of women. This comprehensive policy document remains relevant today as it was 25 years ago, as source of guidance, inspiration for the advancement of women and the achievement of gender equality globally. While recognizing that the vital steps have been taken by the global community towards achieving gender equality and empowering women, we also acknowledge that the challenges and the obstacles continue to remain impeding the socio-economic, political development of women. Across every sphere, from health to economy, negative impacts of COVID-19 have affected women and girls worldwide. It is therefore essential to keep gender equality and women in the forefront amidst the global efforts to recover from this pandemic. Mr. President, historically Sri Lanka has demonstrated its commitment and political will to promote gender equality and the empowerment of women, being cognizant of their invaluable contribution to the social, economic development of the country. It is very encouraging to note that the women in Sri Lanka, comprising more than half of our population, have achieved social development indicators such as literacy, social inclusion, and life expectancy, which are on par with developed countries. I am very proud to acknowledge the achievements of women in my country, who play a significant role in every sphere. Sri Lanka women were granted voting rights, universal franchise in 1931. Sri Lanka produced the first female prime minister in the world in 1960. Sri Lanka women have continued to hold several high-ranking positions in the country as members of parliament, local government, secretaries to ministries, heads of diplomatic missions, and the judiciary. Women represent half of the working population in the country and excel in higher education. Their contribution to the national economy is very significant. Women represent 34.5% of the labor force, while 39% of expatriate workforce consists of women. Mr. President, the government headed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who has received an overwhelming mandate by the Sri Lankan people, is committed to the sustainable development goals, among which the fifth goal is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. In our government's national policy framework, Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor, 10 key policy areas have been identified to achieve a fourfold outcome of a productive citizenry, a contented family, a disciplined and just society, and a prosperous nation. In this framework, priority has been given to gender-based equality, empowerment of women, and the minimization of gender-based violence. In line with the above policy framework, the government will facilitate and ensure contribution of Sri Lanka women to the betterment of our society as an equal player in an environment where women will make their own decisions and will be free to reach their aspirations and will not be subject to any violence or discrimination. In this context, Sri Lanka fully supports the theme of this meeting, accelerating realization of gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls. In conclusion, Sri Lanka reaffirms its commitment to the realization of gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls, which should be a shared commitment towards an inclusive, sustainable development. I wish to conclude by quoting the theme of this year's International Women's Day in Sri Lanka, which is Women's Courage, Nation's Strength. Thank you.
Je remercie le ministre des Affaires étrangères du Sri Lanka de la déclaration qu'il vient de prononcer.